focused, fueled, fearless Farah. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Wednesday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us on a Wednesday evening that, well, I guess we can get back to being fans of football now. We are that much closer to divisional weekend in the NFL playoffs. On paper, what appears to be 4 really good games. Saturday, of course, you got Buffalo, Denver. You got Seattle, San Francisco, Saturday night. And then, of course, on Sunday, a game that will probably be very bittersweet here in Jacksonville. You got Houston at New England, Foxborough, where Jacksonville could have been if they would have won last week. And then, of course, you have the Rams and the Bears. So we'll begin to spend a little time on divisional weekend. Florida Gator basketball team with a big win last night. We will get into that. That's 3 in a row for the defending national champions. But an overwhelming majority of our program this evening is about the season-ending press conference held today down at the Miller Electric Center with Jaguar General Manager James Gladstone and Jaguar head coach Liam Coen. Got a ton of thoughts about things that were said, things that were not said, and all points in between. And we will certainly discuss a lot of that here tonight on Hacker After Dark. Guest lineup looks like this. Former Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle. You hear him every day on prime time. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. My buddy Leon Searcy. We'll talk a little Jaguars wrapping up the season. We'll also talk about Leon's alma mater, the U, going for the national championship in college football next Monday night. So Leon Searcy joins us at the bottom of the 8 o'clock hour. Also, the coach, Mark Duffner, will join us later on in the 9 o'clock hour. And Kevin Brockway of the Gainesville Sun, looking back on a big win for Gator Hoops last night. 3 in a row for Gator Hoops as they absolutely destroyed Oklahoma. So we're absolutely loaded. We're with you till 10 o'clock, Jacksonville. As always, we are glad you are spending part of your Wednesday evening with us. Every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark, let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
You know, since the loss on Sunday, and I haven't tried to make it sound like a coping mechanism because I don't believe it is. I don't ever do that. I shoot you straight, man. I tell you exactly how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking. Hope you appreciate that. Whether you like it or not, whether you disagree with me or not, I hope you know that I'm going to shoot you straight. And there's a narrative among some, particularly outside of Jacksonville, that we've seen this song and dance before from the Jaguars. And what do I mean by that? Well, Doug Marrone's first year on the job in 2017, first year as the permanent head coach, the Jaguars, of course, win the division and go to the AFC Championship game. Then you go to 2022, Doug Peterson's first year on the job. The Jaguars, again, win the division and go to the AFC divisional playoffs. And now, amazingly, here we are, Liam Coen's first year on the job. The Jaguars win the division and play on Wild Card Weekend, again, in the NFL playoffs. And there's been some people that I've heard in the last 72 hours say, well, this is what Jacksonville does, right? They make a run for a year, but it won't be sustainable. And to this point, they've been right. 2018, the bottom fell out 5 games into the year. 2023, after starting 8-3, the bottom fell out Thanksgiving, and the Jaguars never recovered. They missed the playoffs in both 2018 and 2023 after making it in 17 and 22. So now here we are with Liam Coen and James Gladstone in 2025. Will this follow suit of the Marrone regime, Marrone and Dave Caldwell, and then Doug Peterson and Trent Baalke, where the first year on the job together, you make the playoffs, you win the division, but then you fade away into obscurity in year number 2. For anybody that watched that press conference today, that heard what was said between Coen and Gladstone, for anybody that's watched this football team at all this year, I don't know how you could think it's anything but different compared to what Marrone had in 17 or even what Peterson had in 22. Marrone in 17, I love him, but he had the boat, right? He had Bortles. Great defense, just didn't translate the following year. Peterson in 22, got hot at the end of the year, made the playoffs, had the great comeback win. But at the end of the day, that was Zay Jones and Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram, right? Good players, not game breakers. You look at what they've assembled here in Jacksonville, they being Liam Coen and James Gladstone in year number 1. You look at the increase in productivity from almost everybody on the roster, from Cole Van Lannon to Antonio Johnson, to Monteric Brown, to Parker Washington, Travis Etienne, Brenton Strange, Anton Harrison, of course, Trevor Lawrence. I could go on and on and on. It just feels different with this regime than it did in 17 with Marrone and Caldwell, and then it did in 22 with, of course, Peterson and Baalke. Are they going to win 13 games in 2026? I don't know. I would tend to doubt that. That's hard to do. That's hard to do. But what I believe and what I'm telling you is, unlike the collapse in 18 following the 17 playoff run, and unlike the collapse in 23 following the 22 playoff run, I don't believe there's going to be a collapse in 2026. Again, I'm not saying 13-4 again. That's a lofty goal. But I don't think this is going to go from 13-4 to 4-13 or 13-4 to 6-11. And keep in mind, this is the first true offseason for these guys. Last year on January 14th, Liam Coen was the offensive coordinator of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Most of us had never heard the name James Gladstone. They now have a full offseason and an understanding of the roster and things that need to be done to improve it. I'm not telling you to be ultra positive about the loss on Sunday, to be ultra positive going into the offseason. I know some of you, if not most of you, still haven't gotten over what transpired on Sunday. All I'm telling you is, in my opinion, this is a vastly different situation with Coen and Gladstone long-term than it was with Marrone and Caldwell, or that it certainly was with Peterson and Baalke. To me, this is far, far more sustainable what they did in 25 compared to what they did in either 2017 or 2022. James Gladstone, Liam Coen met the media earlier today down at the Miller Electric Center. We'll let you hear from both. First and foremost, I wanted to let you hear from James Gladstone. The question is about his first year as a general manager. What did he learn in his first season as a GM? Keep in mind, Gladstone got the GM job here in Jacksonville the week of the scouting combine last year. It was almost late February before he was announced as the Jaguar GM. It was late in the process. He's right. He said it earlier today. Most of us didn't know his name in mid-January last year. He was asked earlier today what he learned his first year on the job as an NFL general manager.
I think communication remains to be something that is an area I feel like needs to be improved upon personally. It's always a point of emphasis, but it's never a place where I feel like I've done my part. And I continue to seek feedback in that regard internally, obviously, from different departments, as well as I think about how Tony and Liam and I operate in conjunction with each other. Where it lacks, it's very straightforward. Negativity tends to fill that void, and I got to protect against that and do my part to ensure it's an area that I continue to assess and improve upon. And that stuff's never easy, but just like I mentioned at the beginning of the press conference, it's always ongoing, and certainly want to put a lot of emphasis in that as we approach this offseason.
Thank you to our friends at Jaguars.com. One more, at least on this side, from General Manager James Gladstone. Again, this was his first press conference setting in a while. Now, he has given unbelievable access because he's been on Jags HQ every Thursday with J.P. Shadrick and Jeff Loggeman and Tony Baselli. So unreal access, but this was his first press conference setting. And real quick, I mentioned access. I don't know if you guys saw this earlier this evening. The Jacksonville Jaguars released video of Liam Coen's locker room message to the team following Sunday's loss in the playoffs. That's incredible. I said it during the regular season when they took you in the locker room after losses. That access, you don't see that. How many times in the NFL have you seen a losing locker room, the message to the team? You just don't see it unless it's this year's Jaguars. And I actually was convinced they weren't going to do that after the playoff loss. Little did I know that it was released earlier today, that it would be released earlier today. Fascinating stuff. Tremendous access. Thumbs up. Thumbs up to Coen, Gladstone, Baselli, Jaguars.com, everybody involved with that, because the access they have given the fan base this year is second to none, not only in the NFL, but in all of professional sports. Back to James Gladstone. Last year, what was the message when he got hired? Raise the floor of the roster. He wants to bring intangibly rich people into the Jaguar ecosystem. Is that the message going into his second offseason? What is the intangible goal for the Jaguars over the next couple of months?
Yeah, I think so. And, at the end of the day, we're still in preliminary discussions around what our approach, our process, our decisions could look like heading into the real parts of this offseason. We'll take the time, and Liam, Tony, myself, being able to break away, just three of us, will invest energy with our coaching staff, our support staff, our scouting staff, mid to late February, and really have a firm grip on that. But at this point, we're all sort of bringing those thoughts to the surface and then beginning to map that out in a more strategic and formalized manner.
More from General Manager James Gladstone and head coach Liam Coen coming up in just a bit. I also will give you my thoughts from the season-ending press conference as well. A couple of things really stood out to me that I'd like to share with you. Also, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars, Leon Searcy, will join us in about 20 minutes. On a Wednesday evening here in Northeast Florida, Jacksonville, we're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark till 10 o'clock right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
He's our big hitter.
I'm Jaguars Today's middle linebacker, Tom McManus.
He tackles Jags talk from a middle linebacker's point of view. Fridays on 1010XL. Protected by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Greenlaw Group is for the insured. If you think you have roof damage, call 904-302-7055 today, and they will schedule you a free roof inspection. Trust their law firm to help you fight your insurance when you need it. These storms can cause damage you may not even see yet. Call Greenlaw Group 302-7055. There's no cost to retain their law firm and no cost to have your roof inspected. They only get paid if you win. Greenlaw Group, for the insured.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
They start with the Jags and take you around the NFL. Jaguars Today, every weekday from 10 to noon with Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony.
From the Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors Studios at 1010XL.
Bueller, stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, pal. Is that a turtleneck? Can't you feel it, Jason? There's a chill in the air. A definite nip. I mean, it is January. In Jacksonville, Jason. I didn't come here for cold. Well, I wouldn't call this. Cold weather gives me the sniffles. Sniffles turns to pneumonia. Suddenly, I'm in a hospital bed with a tube down my throat because Florida didn't get the memo about ignoring winter. So, switch over to heat. What if my system can't remember how to heat? Dude, put on these sunglasses. Whoa. Bueller Air and Plumbing can make sure your system is ready to switch from cooling to heat. We'll clean your heating coil to get rid of that burning dust smell and make sure you have the coolant pressure to keep your heat pump pumping out the heat. Huh, I had no idea these sunglasses worked in the winter.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
The best financial move you can make this time of year? How about lowering your mortgage rate to 4.99% fixed APR, the lowest rate in years? How about getting up to $500,000 out of your home equity in the process? You can do it now by calling Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Prosser here, and with Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan, you can get a ton of cash, pay off all those high-interest credit cards, and skip up to 2 house payments. One homeowner just got $300,000 approved in under 24 hours. Wiped out their credit cards and 2 car loans, saved $2,100 a month. So don't wait. No hard credit pull up front, and you probably won't even need an appraisal. Just fast, easy cash from your home's equity. Act now. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. Start the new year by wiping out your high-interest debt. 904-999-1508. And you can see how much cash you can get today. That's loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, APR for well-qualified buyers. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Checkmate.
I'm Brendan Cecilia, founder of Checkmate Coatings.
And I'm Chester, the adorable chess man on the trucks.
There are 2 things you should ask yourself about your garage floor. How clean is it now, and how clean would you like it to be? A typical bare concrete floor doesn't just collect dirt, it makes dirt.
It is literally made of dirt.
As much as you sweep and mop, the dust and grit just never ends.
And drips from your car seep into the pores, staining the concrete forever.
A Checkmate multi-layer floor resists drips and stains. It comes in your choice of dozens of colors and sweeps up sparkling clean in just seconds.
No need to wear shoes in the garage and track dirt back in the house.
Gorgeous?
Check. Durable?
Check. Tidy enough to walk on wearing clean white socks? Checkmate.
Transforming your floors, making them great. Checkmate.
Visit checkmatecoatings.com. That's checkmatecoatings.com.
Hey gang, Prosser here. Jacksonville homes are selling, but it can take months, and it takes a price lower than you want. Well, getting top price means aggressive marketing, and Chad and Sandy Newman are the Jacksonville experts who have proven systems to drive the demand to sell your home. And they have this unbelievable promise and guarantee. Chad and Sandy guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. If you need to sell now, Chad and Sandy have instant offers. Fast, easy, and stress-free. You want max price? Chad and Sandy are going to aggressively market your home, and they're going to get it. Anthony and Mary in Palm Coast said, we wanted to move back home closer to family. Getting max price was more important than a fast sell, but we had only purchased our home last year, so we didn't have much equity. After just 23 days of aggressive marketing with Chad and Sandy, they sold our house at the price we needed to make the move. Call the Jacksonville experts you can trust, and I recommend. Call Chad and Sandy at 904-414-6200 or chadandsandy.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Yeah, I think you point to wins and losses as really what comes down to. And when you're a part of a team that wins, typically that wealth is shared. And so it's never truly going to be about one player. I continue to pour into every single one of these guys, as will Edgar Bennett and as will Grant and as will our entire staff, to continue to pour into guys to try to get the most out of them to help our team win as many games as humanly possible. And BT will 100% be a part of that.
The thoughts of Jaguar head coach Liam Coen. Again, thank you to our friends at Jaguars.com. He was asked about Brian Thomas Jr. being basically in the future plans, if you will, and he said he'll be a big part of it, and I would agree with that. There has been some talk, right, with the emergence of Parker Washington, obviously the extension for Jacoby Myers, Travis Hunter coming back into the fold. Would they maybe look to move Brian Thomas Jr.? I don't expect that to happen. Although, I mean, look, did I expect them to move Christian Kirk and to cut Evan Ingram this time last year? Probably not. So you never really know, but I would be surprised if Brian Thomas Jr. were not a Jaguar in 2026. Couple of things that stood out from the press conference today. And really, this goes back to my conversation with Mike Giannetti, the owner and founder of Spot Track, last night. By the way, if you missed that, you can check it out all over 1010XL.com on demand. I believe the full interview is on the 1010XL Jacksonville Jaguar YouTube page as well. Mike Giannetti, Spot Track, the guy that founded that website, that's what they do, man. Salary cap, dead cap money, contract projections. I mean, this is their time of year, the NFL offseason. He thinks Devin Lloyd is going to be in the upper tier of close to $20 million per. If they would have picked up the fifth-year option, they'd be looking at about 14 per. Because they didn't, Lloyd had a great year, and now you're talking maybe 20 per. And that's, to me, not realistic for Jacksonville to keep him. I think Jaguar fans, you need to start rationalizing the idea that Devin Lloyd is not going to be a Jaguar in 2026. Now, what does that mean if he isn't? Well, it means Ventrell Miller, right? Potentially Jack Kaiser. Or it means go get somebody in free agency, or maybe with one of those third-round picks in the draft. I mean, look, it's the price of doing business. When you got this many extensions are up, when you still have Anton Harrison due for an extension, Brenton Strange, Parker Washington, on down the line, you can't keep everybody. It's inevitable you're going to start losing some people. And I think Devin Lloyd, I would be surprised if the number is indeed as high as it's projected, if there's any way Jacksonville can keep him. I do expect them to keep Buster Brown. That's my hope. I think Greg Newsome is likely gone, and I wouldn't lose a whole lot of sleep over that one. The intriguing one to me is Travis Etienne. Going to turn 27 at the end of the month. Well, you'd love to see Etienne be back in the fold, but who really knows? You know, a couple of things from the press conference. Number one, I thought it was interesting when Gladstone pointed out when they re-signed Van Lanen, that means everybody that played on the offensive line this year, everybody, and there was a ton of guys, they're all under contract for 2026. I mean, think about that. Cole Van Lanen, Walker Little, Ezra Cleveland, Robert Hainsey, Patrick McCarry, Anton Harrison, Chuma Edoga, Wyatt Milam, Jonah Monheim. I just named you 9 guys that played and started games, at least one game, or played significant snaps in a game along the offensive line, and all 9 of those guys are under contract and likely to be back here in Jacksonville. That's a nice luxury to have, man. That is nice. I also thought the headliner from the press conference was Travis Hunter. the fact that the plan is to still play him on both sides of the ball. Now, will that plan deviate or change at all? And I think Gladstone even said, we'll see what happens with the balance of the roster. Here's the bottom line. You have Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, Jacoby Myers, and Brian Thomas Jr. all under contract on the offensive side of the ball. As it stands right now in the defensive secondary, you have Jarian Jones, Jordan Lewis. Is that it? I don't know if Braswell's under contract or not. I know Monteric Brown and Greg Newsome are scheduled to become free agents. It is much thinner at defensive back than it is at wide receiver. Will that tilt the hand of James Gladstone and the Jaguars one way or the other when it comes to where they utilize Travis Hunter best? Remember, you get Caleb Ransaw back as well, the third-round pick. We never even saw him. He was maybe slotted in to be one of the starting safeties before he got hurt. And with the knowledge that Andrew Wingard is a free agent, is that just as simple as, all right, Wingard's out, Ransaw's in? So your safeties will be Ransaw, Eric Murray, Rayon Lane, and Antonio Johnson. And then the question is, do you have to cut anybody to save money? Whether that's a Walker Little, who we just talked about. I mean, I would certainly hope not Foye. I can't imagine you not having Foye or Devin Lloyd. If Devin Lloyd leaves in free agency, Foye's got to be here. They'll have to renegotiate that contract perhaps, but I can't see a world where both guys are not here. And you got to start thinking long term. And James Gladstone talked about this earlier during his press conference. The 2026 free agents, it's all about ETN, Devin Lloyd, and to a lesser extent, Buster Brown and Greg Newsome, Dewey Wingard, among others. Well, the year after is craziness because it's Anton Harrison, it's Trayvon Walker, right? It's Brenton Strange, it's Parker Washington. And those last two in particular, what Strange and Washington did this year, you'd like to get those guys signed long-term. James Gladstone was asked about Brenton Strange and Parker Washington, who this offseason, come March 11th, are both eligible for contract extensions.
Yeah, I think so. And, at the end of the day, we're still in preliminary discussions around what our approach, our process, our decisions could look like heading into the real parts of this offseason. We'll take the time, and Liam, Tony, myself, being able to break away, just three of us, will invest energy with our coaching staff, our support staff, our scouting staff, mid to late February, and really have a firm grip on that. But at this point, we're all sort of bringing those thoughts to the surface and then beginning to map that out in a more strategic and formalized manner.
Yeah, look, you're going to have to re-sign some guys. And I think James Gladstone made it very clear also in the press conference that guys like Trayvon Walker, Parker Washington, Brenton Strange, I mean, I'm not breaking any news here. You want those guys to be here long term. So you need to get some deals done so that you're not backed up against a corner a year from now going into the offseason prior to the 2027 campaign. Final thought, at least for right now, on the season-ending press conference. It has to do with the future of the coordinator positions. Grant Udinski is interviewing in Cleveland for the Browns head coaching job. The Miami Dolphins have asked permission to talk to Anthony Campanile for their head coaching opening. Guys, there's 9 jobs that are open in the NFL. And when you go from 4-13 to 13-4, and you got some up-and-coming coordinators like Udinski and Campanile, it's only natural for people to talk about them. I've heard from people in Cleveland that Udinski is liked up there. Now, will they hire a 30-year-old to be the head coach? Obviously, we haven't seen that since Sean McVay, but it worked out pretty well for the Rams. As far as Camp goes, well, he was in Miami, remember, as a linebackers coach with the Dolphins during Hard Knocks and all that a few years ago. Only natural that they would want to talk to him. Plus, Miami just hired a guy from Green Bay to be their brand new general manager. And, of course, Camp came from Green Bay after last season. So Liam Coen was asked about Udinski and Campanile and what would happen if potentially you lose one or both guys.
Both those guys did a great job this year and were in their first years doing those roles and responsibilities. And so anytime you have success, you're going to have people come and call and knock on the door. And those guys have earned some of those interviews and opportunities, whether those happen this year down the line. I think both of those guys are future head coaches at some point. And so that just comes along the territory. It comes with it. It's the bittersweetness of our profession. You want to continue to give people opportunities to grow while also protecting your product and what you do here and how you operate. So it's definitely a fine line that you walk, but it's opportunity, and they've earned those opportunities to interview for those positions, and you try to help them along that process as much as possible. So do I anticipate losing those guys or many coaches, from the staff? Not sure. I'm not sure what that looks like. That ultimately isn't my decision. And, but we have to be prepared. We have to think about what are the next steps if those things were to happen. And those are conversations that, we're having right now.
I would be surprised if you lost both. I guess theoretically it could happen, but keep in mind, there's 9 jobs that are open. Only Cleveland, to my knowledge, is asked to talk to Udinski, and only Miami, surprisingly, has asked to talk to Campanile. They're not multiple interview places, but again, Liam Coen was only interviewed by Jacksonville. He wowed Jacksonville, and the rest is history. Campanile and Udinski did terrific work. Terrific work. I am not downplaying what those guys did at all. They were awesome. Having said that, it is important to point out how many of you, and I'm being serious here, how many of you on January 14th of 2025, 1 year ago today, knew anything about Grant Udinski or Anthony Campanile? I would imagine probably not many of you, right? That would be my guess. Point being, if you were to lose one or both, would that be tough? Yeah. Would that suck? Yeah, probably, particularly if you lose both. But that's when you have to put your trust in Liam Coen and the guys that surround Liam Coen. He went and he got Anthony Campanile. He went and he got Grant Udinski. If you were to lose one or both, as tough as that would be, you got to put your faith and your trust in Coen that he will go and get the next good young offensive mind, and he will go get the good next young defensive mind, much like he did 12 months ago. Hopefully that's not an issue this year. But Campanile and Udinski, you heard Coen say it. They're going to be head coaches at some point in this league. They're both too good. If it's not this year, it's only a matter of time. But you would love to see the entire staff come back for year 2 in 2026. Hit me up on the text line with your thoughts, 904-641-1010, designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Coming up next, my buddy Leon Searcy. He joined me every week on the 5th quarter. Leon and I have been doing that show together now for over a decade. Hard to believe that. You hear him every day on prime time. Let's talk with Leon about the season that was, about the off season to be, and his alma mater, the U, is playing for a national championship on Monday night. We might talk about that as well. Leon Searcy joins me next on a Wednesday night in Jacksonville, Florida. It's Hacker After Dark.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies. It's the one they put in high gear.
Keep going. We got to keep going, keep going, keep going.
It's the Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville drive of the game. Drive to the game in luxury with Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville on 1010XL.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
You like winning? This is foreign Jaguar linebacker Tom McManus, and I'm excited to introduce you to J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling of Greater Jacksonville. If you're a property manager, contractor, builder, realtor, or homeowner, get that feeling of success with less stress. I've used them. My friends have used them. So get your free junk removal and hauling estimate today. Now, I call that a win. Veteran-owned and operated J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Call 506-1256. We haul it all.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
When someone excels in and out of the classroom, we should celebrate it.
That's why 1010XL brings you the Southeast Orthopedic Specialists Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Wednesdays on The Frangie Show, tuned up by
The Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
If you are an experienced electrician looking for your next big opportunity, look no further than the Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller Electric, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering you the chance to showcase your skills on a grand scale. We believe in rewarding hard work with the best pay, top-notch benefits, and an unbeatable culture where people actually care about each other. Take your career to new heights with Miller Electric Company. Apply today at millercareers.com. Miller Electric, an equal opportunity employer.
Look around and we know you've got options for gasoline, but those other places, they're not in the business of more. At Shell, that's what you get every day. Members get more rewards, more savings, more special offers. You'll even get 10 cents per gallon off of your first fill when you sign up and save on every fill after that. Choose to get more and more with every drive. Join the Shell Fuel Rewards program today at fuelrewards.com. Offer valid at participating Shell locations. Offer must be redeemed within 60 days of registration. Limit 20 gallons. Restrictions apply. Visit fuelrewards.com for more information.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguar season obviously came to an end on Sunday, a 27-24 loss to the Buffalo Bills. Now that we've all had a couple of days to kind of reflect and let that sink in, how do we look back on the 2025 campaign? Let's look ahead to the 2026 offseason. And, oh, by the way, the Miami Hurricanes are playing for a national championship next Monday night. Let's talk about all of it with a Hall of Famer from the University of Miami and a former Pro Bowler for the Jacksonville Jaguars, my buddy Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on XL Primetime, and we're lucky enough to get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, how you doing, pal?
What's good, bro?
Leon, you and I spoke and obviously did the fifth quarter immediately following the game on Sunday, and certainly the emotions from the fans and, quite frankly, our emotions were very genuine and raw right after that loss. We've now all had a couple of days to kind of decompress a little bit and reflect. A couple of days later, what are your thoughts about the Jaguars' loss on Sunday?
Well, I mean, it's disappointing, Hack. Listen, I've been down this road as a player, going out early in the playoffs a couple of times when I played. And I think the most frustrating thing about going out early when the expectations are high is that you unfortunately watching the games of other teams that you know you can beat. And then I'm watching the Patriots play the Chargers. I'm watching the Steelers and the Texans. And I'm saying to myself, this Jaguars team could beat any of those teams that are still left in the playoffs. And that's the most frustrating thing about it. And I'm sure those players are watching those games saying the same thing. But quite frankly, you didn't take advantage of the opportunity you had at home against a Bills team that you matched up well against. So that's the difficult thing about going into the off season. Me as an analyst now, looking at those games, looking at the Jaguars, knowing that this was an opportunity missed.
Leon, the crazy thing, too, is just how quickly it comes to an end, right? I mean, 13-4, division champions on top of the world, and then bam, Buffalo beats you in that 3-hour period last Sunday, and the season's over. You won't be back on the field practicing until May for OTAs.
Yeah, I mean, as a player, it's difficult to deal with, to be quite honest with you, because, I mean, you're on this amazing high. You're on an 8-game win streak. You got a home playoff game against a Bills team that's formidable, but you feel good about your chances of winning the game. And then it just goes away, man. And I don't know how listen, I'm in a different era. I've always been told by certain people on social media to stay in my era. So I don't know what's the coping mechanism for athletes nowadays, but for me, I used to just have to get out the city and go somewhere quiet for a while and just reflect. So as frustrating as it is, but the only good thing about that is that when you go out like that, the thing is, you want to get back going. You want to get your rest, but you kind of want to get back into that mode of football again.
Former Jaguar Pro Bowl offensive tackle Leon Searcy. Leon, and we'll obviously have time to do this in the coming weeks as well. Not too much time. I mean, the scouting combine is a month and a half away, and free agency is now only 2 months away, so it'll get here pretty quick. But when you look back on 2025, just summarize your former teammate Tony Baselli, James Gladstone, obviously Liam Coen, in the job that those three men did here in 2025.
Man, I thought they did an amazing job, a fantastic job. I mean, anytime you flip the script from 4-13 to 13-4, I mean, you got to be doing something right. But I could get into all the personnel and the free agencies and all that other kind of stuff. But the one thing that I saw that they changed the mindset of the players on this team. I mean, relatively speaking, a mass majority of the players for last year were on this team this year, and they played out of their minds. Now, what's the difference in their play? It's just that they played tougher, meaner, faster, more disciplined, smart, and they didn't compromise themselves. Well, bro, that's coaching. I mean, because I saw the same players in 2024 couldn't execute, didn't have any tempo, didn't have any desire, didn't have any fight, and didn't have any toughness. And then all of a sudden this year, they come back and they flip the script. So I can reflect on all the stuff that they did as far as free agency and money, but the thing that most impressed me about Baselli, Gladstone, and Liam Coen is that they created culture here when we didn't have any.
Leon, I want to certainly talk about your alma mater, the Miami Hurricanes, in a moment. Final couple of thoughts on the Jaguars. Number one, as we said, the NFL wheel is going to keep spinning, right? I mean, you got less than 2 months before NFL free agency. Decisions are going to have to be made here pretty quickly. There's a lot of free agents, but I think there's 4 guys that are probably at the top of the list as far as the fans' eyes that are interested in what happens with them. Greg Newsome, Monteric Brown in the secondary, Devin Lloyd at linebacker, and, of course, Travis Etienne at running back. What's a quick thought from you on Newsome, Brown, Lloyd, and Etienne?
Newsome can go. Brown, I'll come back to Brown, okay? You franchise tag Devin Lloyd, you paid ATN, transition tag ATN. And then Monteric Brown, I don't know, man. He was awfully good in the middle towards the end, and then then he wasn't. So I don't know. I probably have to let my two corners go.
And if they do that, and even if one of them goes, I mean, that brings up the Travis Hunter question, because with Parker Washington, Jacoby Myers, and BTJ all under contract, look, I mean, I would love to see Hunter on offense next year, and I do think there is a place for him, maybe sprinkling him in 5 or 10 plays here or there. But it looks like on paper there could be more of a need at defensive back, Leon, and that to me is where you might need to focus Travis Hunter next year.
Absolutely. I mean, here's where the business aspect of football comes along. I mean, last year he was the unicorn, the project, trying to figure out where we're going to play him, both sides, giving them reps. He loses all that leverage now that this team went 13-4 without him. At some point, you got to sit down with the young man and say, look, we desperately need you to play, be locked in at this one position, which is corner. And then, we'll have some gadget plays for you on offense every here and there, but we need you locked in on corner. I mean, that's where you're going to help us down the road. And if the kid is if he's coachable, like you say he is, humble, like you say he is, a team player, like you say he is, then he would want that. He will want to do what's best for the team. So, yeah. But you got to be totally locked in that this kid is going to be back and be healthy and is going to give you 17 games next year before you let two corners go.
Final moments with Leon Searcy, of course, a former Pro Bowler here in Jacksonville. Before Leon did that, he was a Hall of Famer at the University of Miami. 3 national championships for the U. And Leon, your alma mater, on Monday night will be playing for a national championship. It would be their first one in basically a quarter century. They're playing in Miami on their home field against, of all teams, the undefeated Indiana Hoosiers. Who would have ever thought that? What's your thought on the U playing for the title on Monday night?
Well, of course, I'm excited. It's been a very long time since Miami's competed for championships. I remember Mario Cristobal telling me, Amelia Island, he said, bro, I'm getting this thing back to where we're going to start competing for championships again. And of course, Mario was my teammate in 1991, where we won a national championship together, where I was the left tackle, he was the right tackle. And our championship was in Miami, and we played the Nebraska team 22-0. That was the last time Miami won a championship in his backyard, was my senior year in 1991. I know Miami's the underdog, and Indiana is the consensus favorite. Probably by America. Probably no one outside of from West Palm Beach on down is rooting for Miami, which is good, and I appreciate it. But there's no way, no how, those kids from the 305, 80% of the kids on that Miami team are playing in front of their aunties, their uncles, their brothers, their cousins, their grandmas, their big mamas. There's no way those kids walk away from that game with a loss. I'm just telling you. And people can say, oh, yeah, of course I'm a homer. Yes, I'm a homer. That's my school. I love it. It made me. It took me from a boy to a man. So I'm just telling you, Indiana is a phenomenal team. They did an outstanding job. They got a quarterback that's from Miami, who grew up wanting to be a Hurricane. So it's going to be a good game. Let me just think, it's going to be a heavyweight fight. Everybody thinks that Indiana is going to blow them out. They saw the same thing against Ohio State, and Miami blew them out. I feel it in my core that there's no way those kids who grew up in Miami, playing for Miami in front of their families, essentially, are going to walk away with nothing else but a dub.
Leon, final question. 2 great stories, right? I mean, if Indiana wins 16-0, a national champion, I mean, you might be talking about one of the best stories in college football history, that the Indiana Hoosiers would be 16-0 and a national champion. From the Miami side of things, look, I get asked this every once in a while. I can't even begin to imagine how often you've been asked this in the last 25 years. Is the U back? Every time they win a game or two, we get the question, is the U back? Well, that question gets put to bed on Monday night because if they do win the title, I mean, obviously at that point, the U is back.
Well, you know what? I like what Mario said. They asked him in the presser after the game when they beat Mississippi State. No, actually, when they beat Ohio State, they asked him, is the U back? He said, no, the U isn't back. The U is here. And I like that answer because we have a tendency to want to remember how great we were back then. Let's be great now. So these kids, all those kids weren't even born in the era where we were winning championships, even in the 2000s. So let these kids let them start their own, whatever you want to call it. Can't call it a dynasty, but let these kids enjoy being great now. And I don't want them to reflect on what we did. I want them to understand that what they're doing right now is very special, and that you can put the cherry on top come Monday when you play Indiana.
I probably know which way you're going to go. I'll ask you anyway. Does Miami get it done on Monday night?
Of course, 31-20.
The 31. Oh, by 2 possessions, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, there you go. And if that happens, Leon Searcy will be hanging out victory cigars like nobody's business. Again, Miami and Indiana, Monday night for the college football national championship. Former Hall of Famer, I guess the current Hall of Famer. You're always a current Hall of Famer at your alma mater, the University of Miami, and a former Pro Bowler for the Jacksonville Jaguars, my buddy Leon Searcy. Leon, thank you as always for the time. And if Miami does get it done Monday night, we can hook up next week and get your reaction to another national championship there in Coral Gables. Appreciate you, my friend.
You got it.
Your front row seat to history in the making.
The Florida Gators, they are the 2025 national champions.
Your home for the most play-by-play is 1010XL.
Anytime you've got major plumbing problems, and even the minor ones, there's several potential causes, and they usually can't be easily detected. So don't guess at a solution. Hire Roland Reese Plumbing at plumbingjacksonville.com.
I know you love sports. So why not take that passion and make a difference in your community as a volunteer coach with the YMCA? Whether it's soccer, basketball, volleyball, or flag football, the Y is always looking for positive role models to help kids grow in both skills and character. Even if you've got no coaching experience, that's fine. We'll provide the training. Step up, give back, and be the coach that makes a difference. To volunteer, visit your local Y or fcymca.org.
Keep your ball out of the rough with the Edwin Watts Golf Hour. Get great golf tips from the experts every Saturday morning at 10. The Edwin Watts Golf Hour on 1010XL.
San Jose Collision in Mandarin is proud to be an I-CAR Gold Class collision repair facility. That means they meet the industry's highest training standards. Experience the difference at San Jose Collision in Mandarin.
This is Dave Barker with IHRS. Are you frustrated with those trendy pills and lotions that claim to make your hair thicker and fuller? Tired of your hair falling out? Our hair restoration solutions have helped over 10,000 men and women restore their hair in as little as 2 office visits.
Call 904-777-IHRS. That's 904-777-4477 or go to hairforme.com.
It's January. You turn on the hot water, expecting steam, and you get let down. That's usually a sign your tankless water heater is loaded with mineral buildup, slowing it down and wearing it out before it's time. So Duck Duck Rooter is kicking the new year off strong with a Start Fresh Tankless Flush. Their experienced technicians flush and clean your tankless system, restoring performance and getting you back in the game. Right now, get your tankless water heater flushed and cleaned for just $99. 904-862-6769 or duckduckrooter.com.
Running a small business is tough, so the Florida Small Business Development Center at UNF provides a free business checkup, a personalized analysis that helps you boost profits, your online presence, and increase your company's value. No cost, no strings attached. It's guidance from experts who understand what it takes to succeed in business. Whether you're just starting out or ready to expand, it's time to act. Complete a request for consulting at unf.edu/SBDC.
Hey, Hickett here for Prize Picks. This week, a special max discount promotion live on the board right now. Caleb Williams has been discounted. He only needs to go for more than a half a pass yard during the Bears-Packers game Saturday. Just add another player to your lineup, and if your pick hits, man, you cash in. Download that Prize Picks app today. Use code 1010XL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code 1010XL, $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right.
Home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Jacksonville, you voted, and Baker Glass came out on top. The Bold City Best Awards are all about locals choosing their favorites, and you picked them for Best Auto Glass and Best Glass and Mirror Service.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
It may be winter in Northeast Florida, but it's one of the most important times to protect your lawn. Prosser here for Julington Creek Pest Control. Their winterizer strengthens roots and improves cold tolerance. Pre-emergent treatments stop spring weeds before they ever start. What that means is you set the stage for a thicker, greener lawn when spring arrives. Call today to schedule your winter lawn treatment with Julington Creek Pest Control. Our family serving yours since 1984.
What race car driver won 27 times in one season?
When your homeowner's insurance policy is up for renewal, it's a good idea to shop around to find a better plan. Southern Oak Insurance for over 20 years provides Floridians a clear option. SouthernOak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Richard Petty, the King, won 200 times in his career, including 27 times in 1967.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime, Hacker After Dark, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock as we do every night right here on 1010XL. And on 92.5 FM. Coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, the coach, Mark Duffner, 50 years coaching experience in both college and, of course, in the National Football League. The coach has been so gracious with his time with us here on Hacker After Dark the entire season, and we'll get his perspective on the loss to Buffalo and certainly what is going to transpire moving on in to the off season. And we will go to Gainesville. Kevin Brockway of the Gainesville Sun and Gatorsports.com as the Gator basketball team starting to look a little bit like that national championship squad last year. Boy, that front court, Shenyulu, Hauk, Condon, and Handlockton were just dominant last night in their road win against Oklahoma. That's now 3 in a row for the Gators. They're back inside the top 20. 12-5 overall, 3-1 in conference play, and they have a big one coming up Saturday at Memorial Gymnasium in Nashville against Vanderbilt. So we'll talk a little Gator hoops with Kevin Brockway of the Gainesville Sun. That comes up here later on towards the bottom of the 9 o'clock hour. Wanted to play one more from Liam Coen earlier today at the season-ending press conference that he and General Manager James Gladstone had down at the Miller Electric Center. This was probably one of the most newsworthy things that came out of it. They both were asked about Travis Hunter, and both gave answers. We'll break it down in a second. Here's Liam Coen's response to the question about potentially looking at Travis Hunter as wide receiver 1 going into next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all part of this evaluation process. I never really look at anybody as like 1 or 2 or 3. It's just like, who do we have on the roster that's going to be active and that we can continue to work with and prepare through the offseason program with. Obviously, for him right now, it's about getting his rehab right and diving in mentally because of some of the limitations we'll have throughout the offseason program. But I'm really excited about getting back to work with Travis and continue that evolution and see what that looks like. And I'm going to take a few of these weeks here to look at that schedule and see what any of those changes or adaptations we may need to make.
Now, again, thank you to Jaguars.com. We have no idea what's going to happen in free agency. They have 11 draft picks as well. There's a lot that we don't know. So we're sort of talking about this blind right now, but that's all we can do for the next 2 months is give our thoughts until developments warrant where thoughts may change or not. And my thought is very simple when it comes to Travis Hunter. And I don't know why this was necessarily the case, but it's hard to argue that the offense, didn't it get better when Hunter got hurt? Now, why was that? The emergence of Jacoby Myers in the trade, the emergence of Parker Washington, there was certainly reasons as to why. I don't know why the offense got significantly better when Hunter went out. But what I do know is with Washington, with Myers, with Brian Thomas Jr., and with Brenton Strange, last time I checked, there is only one football, right? If you include Travis Hunter in a large portion of the offensive snaps, well, okay, that's going to take somebody off the field. Who's that going to take off the field? Is that going to take Parker Washington off the field? Is that going to take Brian Thomas Jr. off the field? Is that a good idea? And secondly, when you look at defensively in the secondary, knowing you have Greg Newsome as an unrestricted free agent, who I would think would probably not return, 50-50 on whether Buster Brown returns or not, who's also a free agent, there is simply going to be a bigger need on defense for Travis Hunter. I'm not saying don't ever play him on offense, but if it were me, what I would plan out when he gets healthy is he's your full-time starter at corner alongside Jarian Jones, Jordan Lewis, hopefully a Buster Brown that re-signs. And then you use him sporadically on offense, 10, 15 plays per game. Because, again, do you want to take Parker Washington off the field with the way he played towards the end of the year? Do you want to take Brian Thomas Jr. off the field? I don't know. We have an entire offseason to talk about it, but I just think it would certainly be a better use of a terrific athlete and player in Travis Hunter based on the way the roster is at least configured now. A lot will change, obviously, but all we can go on here on January the 14th, 72-plus hours after the season came to an end, is it looks like there is going to be a much bigger need on defense for him than there is on offense. And until something changes, that would at least be my mindset moving forward. I'm also intrigued by Caleb Ransaw, right? The third-round pick out of Tulane, who played for John Summerall, ironically enough, both at Troy and Tulane, the new Gator coach. You never saw him. That's why when people say, well, Jacksonville doesn't have a first-round pick, well, that's true. But Travis Hunter only played 7 games, and your third-round pick, Caleb Ransaw, didn't play a snap in the regular season. And you get both of those guys back on top of 11 draft picks overall, including 4 of those picks that are inside the top 100. Remember, the Jaguars have their own second-round pick, and they have 3 third-round picks in the 2026 NFL Draft. By the way, 99 days, 99 little days away from the NFL Draft that will be held in Pittsburgh in late April. Coming up next, Mark Duffner, the coach, 50 years coaching experience on the sidelines, both in college and the National Football League. Coach has been awesome with us all season here on Hacker After Dark. Let's briefly talk about the loss, but I want to do a retrospective on the season that was in the offseason that will be. The coach, Mark Duffner, joins us next on a Wednesday night here in the city of Jacksonville. We're with you till 10 o'clock. We're glad you're with us. It's Hacker After Dark right here on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser start the week by giving the ball to the best back in Duval.
And off, Fred Taylor.
Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins DUI defense firm on 1010XL.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville. And when the weather starts to shift a little bit, especially during the fall, you've got some really cool stuff from Honda Off-Road.
We do. It's the favorite time of the year for me. Nice little chill in the air. We've got some side-by-sides. We've got the ATVs. Of course, they're legendary dirt bikes. We've got it all.
And for the hunter?
Oh, we've got side-by-sides that work and play.
All right, so make sure you check it out. Showroom wide open for you on Atlantic near Regency. If you want to go off-road and have some fun, check out Cycles of Jacksonville.
Chris Stapleton's All-American Road Show. June 11th at VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena with special guest Alan Stone. Chris Stapleton's All-American Road Show. On sale Friday 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
When you want to be heard, send your opinion to the 1010XL text line, designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
Thank you for believing in me when the bosses didn't give me a chance.
641-1010. No texting and driving. Get your thoughts heard on 1010XL.
Life is about choices and the decisions you make. I'm David Robbins with Epstein and Robbins. If you're convicted of a DUI, you'll have to face severe consequences. Walking through the doors of the courthouse or appearing at a bond hearing can be extremely intimidating. Without the right lawyer, you're likely to make the wrong decision. Let our team help you make the right decisions in court. Epstein and Robbins, the right choice.
Epstein and Robbins, fighting for your rights since 1975.
And that concludes the Joe C. Jack of All Trades show. Tune in next week where I'll be installing my own French drain.
Joe, wake up, man.
Hey, John, I must have dozed off.
We finished those projects you started.
Whoa, my seamless gutters are actually seamless.
And they're connected into underground PVC drain lines.
And my sprinklers. Wow, look at that coverage.
Next time, just call me first, Joe.
I will, but I ain't singing that song.
Clear water irrigation
and drainage too.
1010XL presented